With the news that Hayden Christensen is returning as Darth Vader in the Kenobi show, there was another major reveal that I see a lot of people questioning. It was revealed by Kathleen Kennedy, Ewan McGregor, and Hayden Christensen on separate occasions in response to this news that Vader and Obi-Wan will take another swing at each other. What? How is this possible? In episode 4, Vader had not fought Obi-Wan since that day on Mustafar, where everything changed. And how could Obi-Wan fight him when he's watching Luke on Tatooine? While there are possibilities that they could indeed fight for real, such as Ahsoka coming in to watch over Luke while Kenobi goes off to find Vader and finish the job, or he has to go off to speak to Yoda or retrieve something from the Jedi Temple, perhaps help Cal Kestis find the remaining Jedi throughout the galaxy, and Vader tracks him down. Alright, I could see that. But there is another possibility to this, and that is how they did it in the comics, that this is all just a dream sequence. Vader has lifelike fights with Obi-Wan during his Sith meditations in the comics. This could be what we'll see in the show and what they mean by Vader and Obi-Wan getting another swing at one another. Take this comic issue for example. The events on Mustafar and Revenge of the Sith literally play out identical to how it all went down, even down to the dialogue. However, the only difference is it's not Anakin there in the flesh, but rather Vader in the suit. Vader in the vision and his dreams is successful in killing Obi-Wan Kenobi. He actually defeats him many different times. And there's also even a version where he fights himself, where he fights Anakin, and while he's dragging him through the sand and tossing him into the lava, he says, "I am accustomed to killing children." I'm gonna put those issues right here so you can check them out, and then after those are done, or if you've seen them before, skip through them and we can continue on with the video.
Fire and lava ablaze, Vader is right back on Mustafar before he was beaten and burned by his former master. As Obi-Wan jumps to the high ground, he looks to Anakin and tells him, "It's over," and you guys know the rest. When we see Vader say the exact same line Anakin did in Revenge of the Sith, standing in the exact same spot. However, this time, his powers fully unlocked in the dark side, his rage burning hotter than the lava that sparked his inevitable doom. As he says,
"You underestimate my power."
As Obi-Wan tells him not to try it, we all know what happened in the original timeline, where Anakin jumped and got sliced into pieces. Vader, now harnessing the dark side of the Force, lifts the lava onto Obi-Wan and then throws him into the air, slamming him to the ground. As Vader watches his old master recite the same lines, only now having switched places, the comic actually gets really dark, which surprised me to say the least, but in a good way. As lava comes crashing down onto Obi-Wan's body and face, melting and burning him alive as it devours him whole, Vader just callously stands there, watching in amusement, remembering where he lay at the hands of Kenobi. As his mask lowers onto his scarred head, Lord Sidious's voice speaks to him.
"Lord Vader, come to me. I have a task for you."
No! As Anakin stops Vader in his tracks atop the highest of grounds, he jumps down and the two engage in a duel I wish we could see on film.
It is useless to resist. Don't let yourself be destroyed as Obi-Wan did.
Until Vader waits for Anakin to jump into the air and uses the Force to slice him in half. As it was Anakin's destiny.
How can you do this?
As Skywalker asks him, how could he do this? Vader grabs his arm and drags him like a child through the dirt, leading to the lava bank.
"You were a child. I am well accustomed to killing children."
For me, this is the darkest thing Vader could say, and seeing as how Disney approved it, makes me think that maybe things won't get too PG after all. As Vader leads...
Now in the event that they do fight each other for real, then we both know that there's no outcome other than a cool fight scene, since Vader kills Kenobi on the first Death Star in Episode 4 A New Hope. They're both still alive. The fight could end in a stalemate, with possibly Kenobi running away and going back to Luke, as in the A New Hope novelization. Obi-Wan does actually think how powerful Vader has become, and not just in the Force, but physically. His mechanical arms just drive through all of Kenobi's blocks and hits. It was like fighting a machine full of rage and the Force. Another vision that Vader has was when he was trying to bleed his kyber crystal. Upon the many attempts that he had, one of the failure attempts was where the crystal rejected to be bled. Vader actually kills the Emperor and then goes to apologize to Obi-Wan. Here's that scene for you, and again, if you have seen it before and you don't want to watch it again, just skip and we can continue with the video.
when Vader ignites the green blade and puts it to his master, challenging him to duel to the death.
So you made your decision. I have.
As Palpatine ignites his lightsaber, he twirls at Vader just as he had against Master Windu and the Jedi with him in the very same room. As Vader fights his master for what he turned him into, using all aspects of the Force, light, dark, it didn't matter.
You have chosen weakness. So
Whatever to kill the evil monster that entombed his life to this darkness that reminded him of his doom with each loud breath.
Such a waste.
As Vader finally moves his lightsaber and slices right through Palpatine, spurting blood everywhere, he drops his master to the floor of his office and walks away as he replies.
Yes, I agree.
As he goes to make amends with Obi-Wan, he travels to find him, bowing to his real master and removing his helmet in sorrow.
Obi-Wan, please.
Anakin. As Vader awakens from his dream, he refuses to allow that Force vision to become his reality and his destiny.
Now, if this were to happen, then it would have to be a fake vision as well, because we know that just isn't possible, and that's just not how it went. The final possibility of Vader and Obi-Wan fighting is that it's a flashback of him training with Obi-Wan in the Jedi Temple or somewhere during the Clone Wars. One thing I always found super interesting with their fight scene on Mustafar was that they knew all of their own moves. And what I mean by this is that they trained with each other for years. Anakin knew all of Obi-Wan's moves, and Obi-Wan knew all of Anakin's moves. Now here's the interesting part about this. Once Anakin turned to the dark side, and this is quoted from Hayden in one of the bonus DVDs for Revenge of the Sith, he mentions that Anakin actually had new powers once he turned to the dark side. And if you don't believe that, well, he even says it in the movie too. To Padme, only my new powers can save you. Or he says, only my new powers can do that. This goes to show that when you do go to the dark side, you do learn new powers. It's not just much more powerful powers, you get to unlock some new stuff in your skill tree. So if they are going to fight, then, well, they either fight for real, but this would really involve them having to change around a lot of the canon regarding Obi-Wan never leaving the planet. Unless, of course, Vader comes to Tatooine, which he has done before, to choke out Jabba the Hutt. So it is quite possible. Maybe he'll feel Obi-Wan's presence on Tatooine if he goes there, and it'll be very, very tense. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Is it just going to be a dream sequence? Is Obi-Wan going to have nightmares of Anakin maybe killing him, or him killing Anakin over and over again in his dreams? Or is it going to be Vader dreaming about killing Kenobi back on Mustafar, fighting him again? Or maybe it's none of that, and maybe it's just some sort of a hologram sequence like Anakin did in the prequel comics, where he basically just fought a droid that was designed to move and look and fight like Darth Maul. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, remember, the Force will be with you, always.